Tuesday, the 27th of November, 2012. We are approaching Doomsday.
Do you know the exact date?
21st of
21st of December, yeah.
I've not looked into it.
I haven't. I mean, I haven't got out my Mayan calendar in a while.
Right.
You know, I don't have one hanging on the kitchen wall or anything like that. But yes, 21st December.
It's the date when the Mayan calendar runs out.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so it's the end of the world.
Apparently.
Yeah. We can only hope. That's 2 days before my birthday.
Sucks for you.
Shocking.
I've had my presents this year. I've had my birthday.
I got news for you. When it's the end of the world, it doesn't just suck for me.
Yeah, but it sucks twice as much for you because you don't get birthday presents this year.
True. Okay.
No birthday presents.
Fair enough. So yeah, Tuesday, 27th of November. My name is Mike Oldman. I'm joined by Joe Tanetta.
Hello.
And Sean Hart.
Hi.
And we're here to talk about some games. Before we talk about games, and this is why I mentioned it's the end of the world very soon, only a matter of weeks away. With that in mind, Joe, how have you been spending your past 7 days, knowing that you're running out of them, making the most of your life?
My past 7 days, I've been quite busy.
Right.
Yeah. I watched Skyfall this week, though.
The James Bond
Yes.
007 Skyfall.
Yes, that would be the one.
What was that like?
It was awesome, really was. Yeah, it was more like Casino Royale than Quantum of Solace. So
I know I didn't like Quantum of Solace. I know that. I remember that. But I also know I didn't like Casino Royale. Both of those are films I wasn't keen on. There was different. It's like different Bond. It was a bit too serious and a bit too boring.
Yeah, I think that's the way they wanted to go. Though, was with a more serious Bond to things. Everything seems to be going gritty reboot way. So it was like obvious that Bond was going to do it at some point, and I don't mind serious Bond. They had to have some great action sequences in there.
But this looked like it was less serious than those two. From the trailer, this looked like it was going more ridiculous. Like it was more insane scenes in the trailer for a start, and also the villain himself was quite, old Bond villain style. He's kind of ridiculous.
Yeah, he does have that way about him. There is a particular scene that stands out where he is quite over the top. But it is a really good film. I've always loved Bond though, so I've always. Who does theme tune?
Who does theme tune?
Is it Adele this time around?
It might be Adele. Yeah, it probably is.
Pretty sure it is this time around.
Okay, all right. So you watched Skyfall. That's good. What else have you done with your busy week?
Nothing in particular. Just been working. Apart from that.
Okay, so just largely a work week.
Yeah.
And that's that. You told us earlier the reason I'm pressing you is because you did tell us prior to recording the show that you did have a crumpet.
Yes, I had a crumpet this week, which I haven't had in quite a while.
Yeah, that's what you said. We were sitting there quite comfortably, and you just propped up this bit of information of had a crumpet recently, haven't had one in a while.
Right,
quite enjoyed it.
The discussion was on toast at that point, so I brought up that I've had a crumpet and I haven't had one in ages.
I just find it odd that one crumpet is not something I'd ever be happy with. Like two crumpets. Crumpets are those sort of things where you can easily pack it.
Yeah, they are. It was just I was leaving the house and someone had made some crumpets, so I just stole one off their plate and left.
So this was a bread-related theft.
Yeah,
crumpet to go.
Yeah,
that was it, and had a nice crumpet on my way.
Okay, all right, Sean. How about your week? Joe has had a crumpet and watched a film this week. What have you done?
I feel hard pressed to live up to those lofty expectations.
First of all, crumpet count.
No crumpets.
No crumpets.
I'm losing already.
Yeah. Joe's young. He's young.
He can live that reckless life.
Red-blooded man. He can get out there and get crumpet if he needs it.
Yeah, nothing major this week. I've not been on any crazy intergalactic trips saving the universe.
No, I didn't think you had.
It might happen next week. Well, the 21st is coming up of December, so I might be called.
I think the world would be doomed if you were its saviour.
As long as it's on easy, it's fine.
Okay, right. Yeah.
I've been watching a bit of Game Shop.
Yeah, Game Shop. We've been watching Game Shop, which is it's on IGN's YouTube channel. It's like an IGN produced show.
Yeah.
It's just a web series, isn't it, about people running a game shop.
Yeah.
And there's a chap actually on it, Joe, that is similar-ish to you.
Yeah. I did see him, and I was like, yeah, he does.
Everyone who sees it goes, "Is that Joe then?" And I'm like, yeah, sort of, except for that dude has his shit together a lot more than you do. And considering he's a character in the show that doesn't have his shit together, it's interesting. But yeah, it's quite funny. Game Shop's quite good.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Yeah, it's worth checking out. You can see it on, I think Start is the YouTube channel, and it comes out every Wednesday, but you can find it on IGN.
Sure. This week I did have a excellent Halo 4 experience. It was great. The online racist, and it's been a while.
Oh no, that was true. Yeah, we were playing. Yeah. Where was this? Was this when we were at Richard's? We were at a friend's house. I think it was. And all three of us were in the room. Because we had this weird setup. I've never done this before. Yeah. Three of us playing Halo online in the same room, and we all had headsets.
Yeah.
And I've never had that before, and it was kind of nuts. And yeah, you're right. We met the typical racist Xbox Live player.
It was great. I felt honoured because it's been such a very long time. I don't think I've had it since original Xbox.
Well, you don't often hear people talk on Xbox Live anymore. No. I kind of miss that because I used to. Some of the greatest games were when people were talking, and you either start really trash talking them, and then it gets into a little bit of a rally going, or you genuinely make friends, right? Yeah. And people just don't talk anymore at all.
No.
And so you never see that. So for all that. For years, people have been saying that when you go on Xbox Live, I don't want to go on Xbox Live because there's always 13-year-old kids screaming at me and shouting and swearing and being racist or homophobic or something.
Yeah.
And I'd never seen any of that. I'd never come into contact with that. Very rarely do I ever meet anyone who says anything like that. Yeah. So it was weird the other night when we met this racist guy. And he was just dropping the N-bomb, right? But randomly, without any pure, premeditation or anything like that.
Yeah,
and even not in any real context. He just kept, just flexing his N-bomb muscles. It was strange, but classic.
Yeah, it's an interesting experience. It's been such a long time, I'd pretty much forgotten it. And yeah, you're right. I mean, when I most of the time when I'm playing Halo, I'll jump in for a single match and not even have headphones on at all.
Right.
For gaming purposes, even.
Yeah, and the thing that generally happens when you go on with a group of friends as well, you'll end up in a party on Xbox Live, and so you're just separated from everyone else that you're playing against anyway.
Yeah.
So the conversation just always stays between you, so you always miss out on anyone else.
But I still play a lot of solo Halo.
Yeah.
4, and just don't come into contact with any grief at all. I've had very little grief in any game online from people, and you have fun grief. Yeah. That's play fighting almost, because you're still on separate teams and you're still fighting against each other, so that's kind of cool. But I've never had any sort of real dick moves going on.
No.
Or you have people that betray you, or sometimes you'll get into that game where there's one guy on your team is killing everyone on your team, and those moments are kind of awesome when they happen because everyone has to freak out and be like, "We've got to take him down." And it's well, how can I take him down? Because that's a betrayal, and it becomes. I kind of like it, that sort of emergent, just social weirdness that comes out. Sometimes there's people being a dick, but there's a level of dick that you can be that's okay before you are griefing me.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, so few people wear headsets as well, so when you'll jump into most games of any sort, you'll just see one or two people have a headset on and most people don't. The worst games for grief and just people being irritating is obviously Call of Duty, which you do find a lot of.
Yeah, but that's because those people are dicks, right? I like Call of Duty. I am a Call of Duty fan and player, right? But the Call of Duty fan base is not made up of people like me. It is made up of a bunch of dicks, largely, right? A lot of them are dicks. And that's the problem. Just like if I go into a Betfred, it's going to be largely full of dicks, right? That's kind of it. And that's it.
Yeah. Interesting. I never really thought that Betfred.
No, I'm not saying, look, if you're a Call of Duty fan and you listen to this and you're thinking, oh, that's not fair, he's talking about me. I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about the dicks. And you know who I mean because you're a Call of Duty player. So you've met them. Loads of them.
Yeah.
And so, that's fine. As for the Betfred statement, I've never been in a Betfred in my life. Other, gambling opportunities are available.
Sure.
So, okay, so you met a racist Halo 4 player.
Yeah.
And you watched GameStop. Anything else?
Yeah, I've done a bit of Hotline Miami artwork.
Oh, I saw this. You were tweeting this, your Hotline Miami artwork. It's pretty cool.
It's not bad. I thought it was alright.
Yeah, I kind of liked the way you just did the main character and you were doing different versions with the different masks that you wear in the game, right? And but I quite liked just the way they were laid out with sort of a black thing and as though they were coming through a doorway.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's kind of cool. And you even nicked the logo and put the logo on.
Yeah. It was cheeky,
but yeah, it was quite cool. The only thing I was disappointed was when you did the second one, you did Richard the rooster.
Yeah.
I was it's the same body.
Yeah, it's my defense, it's a variant.
Yeah, and in the game, it's the same person, right?
Yeah,
it's just
exactly.
a different head. But I was still well, that's not really you traced that.
Well, no, it was set up in advance so that I drew the 3 heads, and I've drawn 3 sets of weapons. The blood spatter changing was improvised.
Right, that's crazy. That's a big change.
But I figured because then all the things that focus with color. Because I should explain the image. Obviously, it's like a black image with a white door frame. The character standing there. His entire body's in grayscale almost, so it's like shades of grey. And then the focus is on the mask, which is in colour, and the blood on the weapon, which is in colour, and blood splatters on his body and stuff. And then I decided that the variants would be the weapons and the head, but then I decided, because the blood's in colour as well, that should be changed. Obviously, you've got different weapons, you can have different blood splatter, right?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, so they're pictures of a dude with a mask on.
Yeah.
And if you are looking for two starkly different images, that's maybe not what you'll find here, but they are still very good. You should check them out. You tweeted them, and we'll. I think we retweeted them on the Things We Play account. So so that's cool. And the Hotline Miami guys noticed it. Yeah, and we're they said they were digging it. So that's cool.
Yeah, it's not bad. I gave them a retweet.
That's better than the cease and desist.
Yeah, exactly.
Certainly. Yeah, that's pretty cool. One thing I forgot to mention actually that did happen this week, which we actually put a video up of, was when me and you, Sean, were playing Halo 4 Spartan Ops. Yeah. And we had that weird glitch. We had a weird glitch when we were playing it, where we were playing one of the missions, and all of a sudden, halfway through the mission, towards the end of the mission, the last quarter, all of the enemies, or all of the elites and stuff, shrunk down to tiny sizes. They were about as big as they were like half the size of a gun. They were half the size of a plasma pistol, and they would run around really fast. So they were shrunk, and they were super fast, and they were carrying giant normal sized guns. Yeah. So it looked like they were Covenant carbines and plasma rifles just sort of running around the floor by themselves, shooting us, and they'd lob full size grenades.
It's weird because you kind of saw what was going on. I thought that the glitch was literally just one hand sticking out of the floor holding a gun. Right. Like you was kind of recording it and stuff, and so you made a video of it, and you paid far more attention. I was just trying to kill the fuckers. Yeah, no, because I was dying constantly.
Well, yeah, it was. There's not a lot of things it can be, right? It was just like the character model itself was just was like 10% of what it should have been.
I don't know. It might have been like 0.1%.
It was crazy. Weird. They were really small, and then but the gun models hadn't changed, and it was just. I guess it was just from the work I've done in the industry. I was kind of used to. Those are the sort of glitches that you sometimes get when you're making a game. So, it was just super strange, but they were really hard to kill because they were so small. Yeah. So their hitboxes were really tiny, and so you couldn't hit them, and they were fast. Yeah. The only thing that was missing from it was high-pitched voices for them, and that was really strange. But I managed to get some video of it anyway, which we did chuck up on the site, so you can go and check that out if you want to see it. But weird, never happened since, or again, in fact. So yeah,
I was saying that I've not played the new Spartan Ops, so it's a glitch from my company.
New Spartan Ops is not bad this week actually. It's pretty good. Spartan Ops is getting a lot better. It's getting really good. Episode 3 was fantastic. We spoke a little bit about that last week.
Yeah, which I've obviously played quite a few times since.
But episode 4, this week's one, is really good. It's another really good one. I don't know if it's as good as 3, but they're definitely mixing up the
objectives
mission
and
style and what you're doing. And the actual show itself is getting really good now. It's starting to get really interesting. So, Spartan Ops is cool. I'm really enjoying it. I haven't done much this week. My washing machine blew up. I got a washing machine and then I plumbed it all in and turned it all on. And every time it spins the little thing that spins, drum, let's call it a drum, then the power gets knocked out for the entire building.
Yeah, that's quite... that must be quite frustrating.
So I don't use that anymore. Because that's, I like candles, but not that much. So that's largely been fun, just washing machine shenanigans, and sorting things out for my little girl's birthday. But yes, other than that, games, lots of games. We should talk about some. Should we get it over and done with? Because there's one game that came out last week that you guys both love and I can't stand. And it's probably worth just getting out of the way here so I can at least relax. Joe, I'm expecting big things from this because you love this game. Well, you don't love this game, you love this series.
I do love this series. I love this game a lot less than I should do at this point.
It's Hitman Absolution. Yeah. The Absolution. If you want rock hard abs like Agent 47, you need to follow this 23-week program. The Absolution. What's it like, Joe? Tell me what it's like.
I do sort of actually love this game itself. It's just what's happened whilst playing it that has caused me to hate it slightly.
Okay.
So it's broken basically in the way that game. It's happened to lots of people, but it corrupts your game save or just crashes when you try to reload it after exiting the game itself.
Yeah, that's not good. I've seen quite a few things on Twitter about this as well, and it's bad. So you lose your entire game up to that point.
Yeah, basically you lose all of your progression through the story. Unlocks, so like your assassination techniques and all challenges that you complete for playing it on normal or above, get saved onto your profile itself, which IDOS keep hold of. So if you're connected to Xbox Live, you still get all of that information back. It's just how far through the story you've got. So it's happened 4 times to me so far.
That's bad.
It
That's
is.
really bad. So you have to literally go back to the beginning and start again each time.
Yeah.
And has it happened in the same places?
No, it hasn't. It happened halfway through the first mission, which was mainly due to lack of power, because the power went out when I was doing it. Happened after mission 4, happened after mission 15, and then happened again after mission 5.
Okay. So you're saying, actually, to just go back and say, you're saying that the first time it's happened, you had a power cut.
Yeah,
and that's what made it happen.
Yeah, the first one was my
Because now
my
I'm
own
thinking,
accident.
like, maybe you just did it. Like, maybe that's, like, now it's just corrupt. You've just, you know, like a bolt of lightning brought Johnny Five to life in Short Circuit.
Yeah.
That was what it took. And so it also sent a DeLorean back in time in Back to the Future too.
It can transfer Superman's powers to
Yeah.
a normal human being.
So if you had a power cut whilst playing Hitman Absolution, it's quite possible that now that save is in the Wild West.
I have actually deleted Hitman completely off of my hard drive and reinstalled and started again with it.
1885, Joe. Probably
Okay.
living as a blacksmith.
I can't really see the bald man as a blacksmith, but hey.
All right, yeah, that sounds like a pretty bad bug. That's not
It is,
good.
yeah.
Aside from that, then it was funny because you were saying earlier, you were like, I'm too scared to. You haven't finished the game,
No, I haven't.
and you were too scared to play it again because you didn't want it to corrupt.
Yeah, I haven't turned it on in about 4 days now. I've just
But
sort of
you're not
put it into a
getting
side.
anything by not playing it. It's not gonna fix itself. It's
Yeah,
just-
but
he's
yeah,
basically waiting for the update.
I am,
The-
because IDOS are aware and they're trying to fix it. But it's like, if I get to like mission 10 again and it happens again,
right. Okay.
I don't want to have to start again from the beginning. 'Cause there's only so many times you can play the
Have
first 5
they
missions.
commented on it?
They have, yes.
They
There
have.
is an official thread on their website,
Okay.
on their forums, where they're like, we do know about the problem and we are trying to fix it. And
Okay,
they're getting
so
feedback
fix
and
is on the
talking
way.
with people. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, in that case, then maybe do wait.
Yeah.
Although, I'd imagine this is a fairly recent thing. The fix it's going to take a little while. To
Yeah,
get
probably
out.
will. Yeah, because it's not just on Xbox as well. It's happening on PlayStation and PC. So all formats are just crashing at certain
Okay.
points and corrupting
Cool.
saves.
All right. Well, that aside, how's the game? How are you finding the game?
I do sort of actually love this game. After like the first couple and when I got up to 15, all the way through that, I was loving it. I really was. I do have a slight problem with the disguise system, but apart from that, it's great fun to play.
What's wrong with the disguise system?
Well, the disguise system in Blood Money was just any disguise you have gets you anywhere you want, basically. There are certain areas where you have to have a guard uniform, but you can walk past anyone as long as you don't do anything suspicious whilst in a disguise. You're perfectly fine in that. In this one, what disguise you have on, anyone else who's wearing it, so say you're dressed up as a guard, any other guards will find you suspicious, and if you get too close, they'll spot you, so you have to use your instinct to get past them.
Yeah, that sounds cool, right? That's like if you dressed up as a postman, I'd know you weren't my postman.
Yeah.
But maybe from a distance, I'd think
Yeah.
you were a
No,
postman.
you'd have to be another
A
postman
postman.
to recognise that he
Okay,
wasn't
but
a
that
postman.
still also
Yeah.
That
makes
makes
sense,
sense,
right?
yeah.
If you
Yeah,
like,
it
a
is.
cop's gonna notice the one cop with the barcode on his head that wasn't in the cop
Yeah.
squad before, right?
Yeah, I'm not saying it's a bad system. It just become quite troublesome, especially on the harder difficulties. So
Okay.
when you've almost out of instinct and you've got to try and get past someone that you're disguised as, you're just stuck for about 10 minutes just trying to find an alternate route or a different disguise.
Yeah,
to
I
get
mean,
past
this
them.
game already and the previous games as well just seems like a game where you do an awful lot of waiting.
Yeah, the whole
You
game.
know, an awful lot of just waiting for that. Just dude to walk over there. Just walk over there, and then
It's quite
I'm sick of that.
interesting because with this, I found that you can trigger. So, for example, there was a level where there's a guard and he's like the head of security and he's talking to a couple of other guys. And the first time I was playing, I was just kind of walking up to areas and see how guards react to me. I walked up to this set of 3 guards, and that instantly triggered the head of security to move on to the next set of guards. The second time I played, I hung back, and it took him a lot longer to auto-animate to come out of that preset animation and move on to the next preset animation, because they're giving away information that you should, in theory, be hearing.
Right.
But it kind of says we will play on without you hearing this information.
Yeah,
if
yeah.
you give
So the
us enough
things you
time.
do affect the world
You
around
can
it.
trigger the movement of guards.
Okay, but there's still got to be moments where you are just like stuck, right? And you just like Joe was saying in that mission,
certainly.
which is like the only thing I can do now is just I've just got to wait. And
Yeah.
I just hate kind of games like that. I hate that scene you see in a lot of games where you're crouched up against the back of like a small desk or a wall or something, and you're just waiting for whatever is on the other side to do whatever. It doesn't matter if it's 3 seconds or 1.
Sure.
I don't like it. I don't like that waiting.
Yeah, I'm just a very patient person, and I love just, trial and error. Just trying to figure out what to do next and how to get past every section until you get your perfect plan that you stick to every time.
So yeah, tell us more about the game then. What's good? Why should I care about this game? Is it really good? I mean, you like the games, right? So is this game good anyway, or is it just good because you like these sort of terrible games? You're just a massive Ave Maria fan.
I like the song itself, yeah. I've been paying attention to a lot of reviews and what people have been saying about it, and some people are finding this game amazing even if they aren't fans of the series itself.
What I do like in the game is the way that you can just cause mass hysteria, because there's a lot of quite open environments and vast crowds, and having things like remote detonators. You can find C4 and stuff. You don't go into loadouts. You don't have loadouts like in previous games, but you can find kind of remote detonators and stuff. And people are completely unaware and oblivious to you just like lobbing C4 onto the ground if they're just like general public and stuff, and then just firing around in the middle of a crowd. You just get fantastic results.
Well, yeah, depending on what you're going for, I suppose.
Yeah, I mean, if you're just out to cause chaos, just pulling your guns and firing into crowds, it's good.
Yeah, so the crowd stuff's really impressive, actually. The crowd tech's quite good.
And you do it does seem like there's thousands of people on levels, man.
Yeah, it's like they make a huge point of it in like the third mission where you got to kill the King of Chinatown. You open the doors and there's just like lights and flames everywhere, and there's just crowds of people. They do it again later when you're trying to get onto a subway train and there's just like loads of people on the platforms, and it runs so smoothly even with all of these people on the screen.
Yeah, so I mean, how is the game? I mean, it looks pretty, right?
Yeah, it does look amazing. There are points when you're just walking along and it's like, that really does look awesome.
It's the same guy, isn't it, playing Hitman? There was a big thing about that. I remember that there was some stuff I saw online about people going, I hope it's the same dude doing the voice of Hitman. And I just thought, who cares? That's the one character. It doesn't matter if anyone does the voice or even if he has a voice.
I think it's pretty distinctive.
It is a very distinct voice.
It's weird how the Hitman series is completely like outside of my own personal world. Like I just don't. Yeah, I have no attachment to Hitman at all.
Yeah, I can understand why people dislike it and why they keep their distance from it. And to me, I always thought it was quite a niche market that was into it.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it was because they were hardcore. They were tough games, man.
They were, yeah.
I mean, this is the first one that's started to really sort of dumb it down well, not dumb it down, but it's supposed to be far more accessible for new players.
You can see how it's far more accessible, and it is a lot easier, especially compared to Blood Money, which was the easiest of the series. I love the story in this one.
Do you?
Yeah, it's a different way to go.
Yeah, you were telling us a bit about the story last week. His daughter.
Yeah, no, not his daughter. Yeah. So the story is that right at the beginning, the agency's been like taken down since Blood Money.
Spoilers for the end of Blood Money.
Yeah, okay. So yeah, the agency's in ruins, and they're rebuilding themselves, and they're going after Diana Burnwood, your ex-handler, who was the one that brought the agency to her knees.
Spoilers.
And
spoilers.
So the first mission is basically you're sent out to kill her, and once you do that...
Are you just going to tell me what you do on all the missions now?
No.
Because I don't want you to tell me that.
I'm not going to.
Okay. Imagine the back of a DVD case.
So yeah, when you kill Diana Burnwood, she tells you about a girl called Victoria that she's stolen from the agency, and then throughout the story you're literally just trying to protect her and take down everyone that was involved with everything that was going on with this girl called Vanessa.
Victoria.
Is it Victoria?
Yeah.
It was when you started the sentence.
Yeah.
And then it became Vanessa. Who's Vanessa, Joe?
I have no clue whatsoever.
Alright, yeah, so something to do with a little girl. Is the story any good, Sean?
This story's okay. It's just kind of... It's a frame, isn't it, to set you killing loads of people either randomly or really violently or accidentally.
It's a game. But so what is it? But is it any good? Is the story any good?
The story has no real gravity. It's okay. It's all right.
And is it just what you're just going after? Who do you want to kill? Who am I killing? Who am I after?
you're after the people. It's
Templars.
there's
The
loads of-
Templars?
No.
It's scientists, people trying to capture the girl.
Do you guys?
Anyone involved with the
You guys
agency.
don't know, do you? You don't know.
I was
who
just
they're after
killing
in
people.
Hitman. All right,
People
okay.
try to kill me. I was trying to kill them.
Did it? What I wanted to ask you actually was, did either of you find Kane or Lynch? Because both of them are in this game.
The one with the glass eye. I don't know which one it is.
Does one of them have a glass eye?
It's white. He's blind
Yeah,
in one
it's-
eye or something. He's got
yeah.
a scar over it and a plaster over his nose.
That's
Right.
Kane, yeah.
Right. Yeah. He's the one that I saw. Yeah. And I kind of half recognised him. I thought he was from an earlier Hitman game, but because I've never really played Kane and Lynch, I played the first one a little bit, so I was never really into those characters. But
Yeah, apparently there's loads of links between Kane and Lynch in this. So there's like,
I did see other Square stuff.
you see him like, yeah, but this is like other IO stuff, same universe. sort of
Oh right, so it's all.
So you see that I think either the bank job that they do is either a news report or you see him planning it or something like that. Lynch is like freaking out in a shooting range in the game at some point.
Oh yeah, I remember now.
And Kane's in the bar. You can interact with Kane, I think, but I don't know.
Yeah, I think he just kind of gives you a bit of lip, if I remember correctly. 'Cause it was only a half kind of. I sort of recognise that guy.
Yeah, okay, but that's cool. I thought that was interesting.
But I did see a mini ninja in the kids' wing of the hospital.
No, really?
Yeah, Ryu, whatever his name is,
Just
the main
wandering
one.
around.
No, he's just like a plastic figurine on the side. I was like, oh yeah, there he is.
Did anyone try the multiplayer out of Hitman contracts and stuff? Because that was more interesting. That's like a level editor almost. You kind of get to like build your own contracts, right?
Yeah.
So my understanding is that you can take pretty much any level from the campaign, and then you can assign any of the people that are within the level to be the target, and then
Yeah.
any of the attributes that you need to have between it, or any other separate challenges and stuff. Is that right?
Yeah, it works just like that. So yeah, you just pick a level. You can pick up to 3 different targets at any time. So you can have 3 different targets to be killed in the mission. You can specify what disguise you have on at that point to
Right.
kill them and what weapon to kill them with.
But these people that you can target are only people that are in that mission, right?
Yeah,
You can't.
and-
You're not like placing enemies down in
No,
specific
no,
places.
it's-
You're just going, that guy that was there and will always be there. He might be your target now.
Yeah, the way you create these contracts is literally you do create contract and it loads you up into the level at the start, and then you just wander around the level, and then you can just mark targets, and then you just pick them off at a certain point with whatever you want to use to do it with.
Okay.
And then once you finish picking all your targets at the end, you can specify do it suit only or do it within this time period and other things like that. And then I think it allocates money depending on what difficulty it grades it as.
Okay. And so, but all of them as well have to be done, don't they? You can't make one that can't be completed. Like they have to have
Yeah.
been. You have to complete the challenge.
Yeah,
as you said.
that's why it like puts you into the level. It's like you have
Yeah.
to do the challenge yourself so other people can do it.
Yeah, and then
Yeah.
you can obviously send it to your friends and
Yeah.
various other stuff. Yeah, that sounds pretty cool. Did you do other people's? Can you like download people's or something?
Yeah, you don't download them. You can just literally just play it. It's instant. What it does, it literally just loads up the level and just automatically.
But where do you
So
get them from?
are
Is
you
what I mean. Where do you-
picking them off a list?
Yeah, under the contract section, you just do quick play, and you can just search for like a specific level or
Okay.
a specific target, or do it in a specific way. And yeah, they all have. There's loads of them up there. I think it started on launch day with 20, and I think after a week it had 50,000 on there to do. So and it's always going to just increase.
Yeah, it sounds pretty cool. I mean, I'm interested in it because it sounds
Yeah.
like a decent idea. My only thing is that there is an end number to that, right?
Yeah.
50,000 is a lot. It doesn't take many before you start to feel like you're doing pretty much the same thing. You're still doing it in the same levels with the same characters. You're just changing the variables up. Yeah, it's like loosely shaking it more than editing it massively.
Sure.
So I can feel like that's maybe not going to have the longevity to it that it could have.
Yeah. So
If it was like a full-on, mission editor.
Yeah.
But it's still pretty good. That's pretty
Yeah.
cool to be in there. So there's no direct multiplayer in Hitman, am I right in thinking that? There's no one-on-one stuff or I'm ever playing with someone else?
No, not at this point. No.
Okay, all right. Well, do you know if there's some more?
Well, no, I just meant not in
Tease and
this.
stuff?
I meant not in this game.
You meant
Yeah.
no, but you wanted to put more words in.
Yeah.
Not at this point, no, everybody.
I don't know why I said at this point. I just meant no, not in
Alright.
this game.
So Hitman, you're enjoying?
I am, yes.
You like it? Have you still got your giant plastic stupid toy thing?
I do, yes.
Yeah, where is it?
It's above my DVDs.
Which is in his bed. Because
No.
DVDs are under his bed.
No.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, cool. I did see in an interview recently with IO actually that there was plans to kind of change the way the Hitman's delivered now. So basically, what they said was that IO Interactive weren't going to be making the next Hitman game. That was going to come out of Square Enix Montreal, who were the Deus Ex guys.
Right.
And then the following game after that would be IO. So kind of like a Call of Duty style with Treyarch and Infinity Ward, which is kind of interesting and shows that there's quite a lot of, at least still a lot of belief and commitment to the franchise, that there are going to be more of these games and they don't have any plan in slowing them down. If anything, they want to speed it back up.
Sure.
I mean, I don't know. I've not. Have you guys finished this game now? You haven't, Joe, but
I have.
Did you?
Yeah, I did.
And how do you feel about that? It's, how does this end? Is it good? Is it?
Yeah, I mean, they do kind of leave it open for a sequel. Of course, they do. The last level's quite satisfying. It's not quite as good as Requiem in the last one. I'm not fussed. I'm quite happy with Hitman once every kind of 2-3 years. I don't feel like I need him.
Well, it's been 6 since the last one.
Right, that's okay with me.
You'll be having for another 6 years.
Yeah, I don't need that much Hitman in my life, really. It's okay. I don't mind it. I think I just specifically loved the last one, rather than I didn't play any of the others before. I found it kind of frustrating and janky. So I'm not fussed if there's another one kind of next year or the year after. I won't necessarily rush out and buy it.
I'd like to see what Square Enix's Montreal studio do with it, because I love Deus Ex, and it was a great game. So
well, I'd imagine it'll be much the same.
Yeah.
I'd imagine that there's so much crosstalk going on there between the studios and stuff that I'd imagine you'll be getting this. I don't think it's going to be like a departure from Hitman to something else.
Sure.
I think it's just going to be, essentially a B team.
Yeah.
It seems mean to say that, but essentially like a B team putting out a game.
I mean, they're relatively new studio, aren't they?
Yeah, and they'll share tech and they'll have different people on it, but it'll be. I don't think there'll be much difference.
No, it's interesting though.
The other thing that came out this week then was the final episode of The Walking Dead, episode 5, which had a name. What was it called?
No Time Left.
No Time Left.
Pretty sure that's what it was, yeah.
Yeah, so I haven't played this. You haven't played this either, Sean.
No.
But Joe, you have.
I finished it just before I came down here to record this.
I know what happens. I've had it spoiled for me.
Have you?
Yeah, so that's fine. But we're not going to spoil it for everyone else. But how did it go, Joe? Did you like it? Was it a fitting end?
Yeah, it was. I got to the end and I was just thinking, when I got episode 1 all those months ago, I'd never really imagined it'd get to this point here.
You never thought December November would come along.
Yeah, the story would get to the point that it was at.
Okay, right.
Yeah, I don't know what I was expecting from it, but it was just like when it reached it, I was just like, yeah, this I really wasn't expecting to get here.
So how did you start 5? Did you have a lot of guys with you in your team?
I had everyone that I could possibly have at that point.
Okay, and when you finished 5, was everyone still with you in your team? We all know the answer. It's obviously going to be no, right?
No,
because
yeah.
It happens every episode. But how many of you were left at the end? I don't know if that's a thing, but how many characters
at the
were
very,
around?
very
at
end?
the very end. You had loads at the beginning. How many were you left with?
0.
0. Okay,
Yeah.
right. Cool.
All right.
Yeah.
Potential spoiler.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's why I didn't really want to say anything. Yeah.
So, yeah, it sounds pretty good. You were getting lost in the game though, because you got kind of disenchanted with it around episode 3 when you didn't like what was going on and how your story was turning out.
Yes.
Like, because of the way we thought 5 was going to end up with them being able to write a different ending for pretty much any occurrence, because 4 they didn't have to tie up the endings to it because
Sure.
5's the last one.
Yeah.
Did this then satisfy you as an ending wise? As your story coming true?
It was, as an ending, it was sort of what I was expecting all along. Like, we've had discussions about it and how we think it's going to end. And the way it ended was exactly how I thought it was probably going to end.
Okay.
I can't really see any way that would end any differently, no matter what I'd chosen. It just seems like they gave you the options to make all of these choices, but the ending seems like something that will never change.
Okay.
I will try to change it, but it's just, especially after what happens at the end of 4, there is no way 5 can end any different way.
Okay, yeah, that's interesting. Well, we'll give it a go.
Yeah.
Without going into too much there, I mean, season 2's been announced.
Yeah.
Are you feeling good about that?
Yeah. It'll be interesting to play.
I've heard some people just say they don't want, like, what can season 2 do? Like, so much happens in season 1.
Sure.
that like season 2 can only really retread the same ground, right? There's loads of amazing stuff and scares and things that happen in one. That how do you not do those again in a second season?
I think that they would argue that it's more about the relationships though, and what the dynamics of any relationships that you build within the second season is unique to that.
I feel like it should be, but I don't feel like it was about that. I feel like and certainly that's more
that angle of the TV show.
Certainly,
and the comic books,
that's
certainly
more akin to like the TV show in particular. But in the games, I don't feel like that ever came across.
Sure.
I feel like the things that made the games brilliant and things that shocked me were the moments when I was trying to get a trap off of a bear trap off of a man's leg,
Sure.
or when a guy dropped a salt block on someone's head. Like those shocking moments where you're just like, whoa! It had nothing to do with the characters there. A lot of it was that Heavy Rain style idea of making me do stuff when you have to do it yourself, when you have to cave that zombie's head in. That was what made it kind of impactful. So I'm curious as to those things will surely repeat in a second season, right? The same mechanic of bashing something repeatedly or narrowly escaping something, or any of the action sequences, because there's quite a lot of action in 5, right?
Yeah, it's very jam-packed full of things that happen. There are some awesome scenes in there as well.
So it's just, I don't know, like, are they better at this point to just kind of step away and go, that's it, it's Walking Dead done? Or we can take all the lessons we've learned from making it and put in something else and have something else awesome now? Or do they just, how do they make it work? Because we don't want the same characters, right? I don't want any... I don't know what characters are left in the end, but I don't want any of them crumping up again in season 2.
Sure, I feel that they're more likely to bring more crossovers with the main canon characters than they would be to kind of... Do you think?
I don't, but the problem with that is they can't control them.
No,
so that's why they don't do it.
I know.
Like,
They've had 2, like in season 1. Where
but they wrote them out immediately.
Yeah, they dip in and dip out, but that's what they would do rather than bring people back from season 1, I feel.
You reckon? Well, I think...
because then you're kind of messing with people's games. Especially if ultimately the ending could be that no people survive.
No, I mean that. But there are some people that did leave. Obviously, any characters that have been through a decision can't come back. But like anyone that's died who haven't been disposed of, do they come back as a zombie? Or the characters that have left you. But I think you're still going to get not a lot of crossover with things like the comic book because they can't control any of that. If they make their own thing, they've got complete.
They
don't have to worry about. This person needs to be alive here or needs to have ended up here or does this fit in with how they've been acting for the last 6 months or whatever. It's interesting. Walking Dead's been amazing. It's one of my definite contenders for Game of the Year, and I'm really, really impressed with it.
Yeah, it has been. After my anger with episode 3, 5 is just it's pulled me back into it, and I'm just I may actually want to go back and play through this again and make different choices because there are just some awesome moments in there. And it has made up for the rage that 3 ensued.
Yeah, I don't know why he didn't like it so much, to be perfect.
It was just that one thing that I couldn't change. It just took person away from me that I liked.
But now you've seen the ending, does any of it really matter? Does
No, not really.
Not
the slightest.
No.
That's why I wouldn't mind playing for it again.
Yeah, so... Okay, yeah, Walking Dead, interesting. Obviously it's getting a retail release. Must be soon. It's got to be this month or next month, right? Before Christmas, I'd have thought.
I would have thought.
Yeah, probably.
So that'll be interesting to see how that does. And I don't know, I'm being curious to know how that's going to play. I don't think it would play as well in one sitting. I think it'd be too much to do in more than one sitting, in more than a few hour chunks.
Sure.
Yeah, it'll probably be separated as it is as DLC. So it'll probably be separated into the chapters and you just play them at whim. Something like what Alan Wake did, where it was just previously and...
I guess.
Yeah, they'll probably have it separated into chapters again, so you could just do a chapter or just parts of it.
So how would you feel then about Alan Wake if Alan Wake was released this way on XBLA?
I might have more love for it.
See, I wondered that I thought, yeah, okay, maybe that'd be quite good, quite a nice way of digesting it, but I wouldn't play it.
There's no way I probably wouldn't have finished it.
No way. I'd buy maybe a couple of episodes. It'd have to be so cheap.
Yeah.
As well, I'd make a couple of episodes and then that'd be it. I'd never get to the end, no way.
Yeah, Alan Wake didn't have the storytelling power that this does, or just the grasp.
And it's kind of not different enough, It kind of just feels like then it just instantly feels cheaper. This kind of third person romp around, So, yeah, I don't know. I don't feel like you could argue that Telltale's had success with the way this is. I don't know what the numbers are, but success with the way this has been delivered, right? Admittedly, they've hit the stumbling block if they haven't managed to get an episode out every month. But nearly, it's been pretty good.
Yeah.
But I don't feel like that is a model that you can just then pick up and put on any other game and it will work in the same way. In The Walking Dead, because of the nature of its sort of almost point and click vibe to it, that helps it along. It's almost like a storybook. You wouldn't want to read the whole thing in one go. It's designed to be, or it seems to be designed to be, and implements itself well to be just digested in those chunks.
Sure.
So if you just took, Halo 4 and diced it up into 5 parts, and then released it, I think people would just cop out before the end.
Yeah, maybe. Obviously, it happened to Sonic.
Well, Sonic, that makes no sense, right? Because that's still happening, that's still going on, but they never said how long those were going to be.
You
but
reckon?
Episodes haven't. Well, yes, they've said that episode
They're
3 is
doing
coming.
more, really?
Well, episode 2 only came out recently, and it was good. So
Okay.
episode 3 is episode 3 is coming along. But episodes never worked for anyone, has it? Half-Life will stand up and tell you that. The Sonic stuff was batshit insane because they just kind of reinvented it and kind of
it was just
bad,
weird. Yeah.
But episode 2 is alright. Episodic gaming. No one's quite figured it out yet, but Telltale did nail it well. And weirdly, they've been doing stuff like this before with Sam & Max and other things.
True.
And they haven't worked quite as well as this. This is the one that's really done, gangbusters. So, interesting. I want to see what else they've got. I think they're announcing a new game soon. I think maybe in the next week they're announcing something. Or at the VGAs, the Spoke VGAs. But I don't know what that could be. So
we'll have to keep our ears peeled.
All right, well, should we take a quick break?
Yeah.
What music are we going to listen to?
I don't think we figured it out.
Okay.
Our favourite track.
Well, in honour of our good friend Agent 47 and his new Keep Fit program, the Absolution, we're going to listen to, I don't know, some sort of weird version of our favorite. I'll Google
There's a couple
something.
of them.
We have no idea what's coming up. We'll see you in 5 minutes. Okay, we're back. See, that was nice, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was lovely. That, on the other hand, is painful. You know those Family Guy jokes that go on for like 30 seconds too long?
I hate that music. I hate Hitman.
Yeah,
I hate Hitman.
I think you portrayed that the 10 times you said that before we started
I hate it.
this. Great.
And why is it? Why is it about that piece of music that seems to turn you guys on so much?
I think it was an integrating thing with Blood Money, because I got to the point where I was playing that game so much at one point, and every time, obviously, you're switching it on, the music's there, and it's just like, it becomes synonymous with me being a badass motherfucker.
Is Blood Money the game that introduced that as the theme to Hitman?
I think so, somewhere around there. I'm pretty sure none of the others used that.
Yeah, I don't think it
First
was.
one,
I
yeah.
thought it was Blood Money that went, yeah.
I don't think it was
very
on
crazy.
contracts, so yeah, pretty sure.
Okay. I can't stand it. I really can't stand it. It pains me that we've used a version of that in the break. Even that version. Anyway, let's move on. There's a few demos came out last week that we should probably talk about that of upcoming games. One was Epic Mickey. Epic Mickey 2, actually, wasn't it? The Power of Two.
Yeah.
Yes.
I played this very briefly, but I didn't like it.
Yeah, I played it very briefly.
Like it.
And
it's a
didn't
shame
like
because Epic Mickey 1 should have been good, but was ultimately really bad. Mainly due to a lot of weird technical issues, like camera controls being awful. But was a neat enough idea. You know, I kind of like the idea of the paint and the thinner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like the mechanic of that, but this just was really strange. And because in 2-player, one of you's Oswald and one of you's Mickey.
Right.
You get to do very different things. It's not like even balanced across the players. They're very different. Because Oswald has like that remote thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Mickey has the paint. And also the whole game is played with like this weird separate reticule that would be controlled by the Wii pointer, the Wiimote, right?
Yeah.
And that shouldn't be there in my Xbox 360 version. You know, so a second stick allows me to control and paint the paint where I want it to go, right? But I don't need that much control. And it's kind of weird always having this floating dot like a Wiimote's pointing at the screen next to it. I thought that was really strange for the port.
It was, yeah. It just like I was playing it, I was just like, why the hell is that dot there? And I don't need it. If I just pull the trigger, you could just bring it up. You don't have to leave it there.
Exactly. It was an odd thing to sort of have. I'm not. I mean, I didn't play for very long, and there was a lot of kind of nothing. It doesn't look particularly special. I mean, that's the other thing. Epic Mickey it looked as though it could be a very good-looking game.
Sure.
In high definition,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And this just isn't that. And I kind of like Mickey Mouse-ish, you know. I don't have a problem with Mickey Mouse. Not this Mickey Mouse, you know. This is kind of like good Mickey.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, this is epic Mickey. That's what it is. But like, you know, older, 90s Mickey is the Mickey I have a problem with. But this is like classic Mickey, and I don't mind that. I don't know. I can't recommend this game based off the demo at all.
No, certainly. Yeah, I mean, I had the first one on Wii. Me and Ella used to play it together because she was completely incapable of playing it by herself. It was kind of mind-numbing, and it's crazy difficult when you get to later levels, especially if this game is aimed at small children, which I assume it is.
Yeah, well, it's Mickey, right?
Yeah.
When's Mickey not aimed at small children?
So it's just kind of the balance of the whole game itself is kind of well out of whack.
Well, I think so. I think Ella's a bit young. I mean, she would have been 5 when Epic
I think she
came
was
out,
young,
right?
I think she was
and
kind
so
of
that's
foolish.
and it is still there's more to
But
it
it
than
was
that,
literally
but yeah.
kind of like she saw Mickey Mouse and she wanted it, so I had to
that
go
makes
and get it.
I mean, so Epic Mickey 2, I'm not a big fan of. From what I've seen of Epic Mickey 2 on DS, the Castle of, what was it, Power of Illusion? Or
Yeah,
whatever
it's Power of Illusion.
that looks alright. That doesn't look too bad. It uses the same mechanic of the paint and the paint thinner, but it has lots and lots and lots of separate sections where it makes you trace a pattern on the DS screen, on the stylus screen. And it really slows down gameplay, and it's really kind of annoying. Other than that, the actual animation and the platforming stuff, great. You know, and there's some really good sort of puzzles in there that you have to solve, and it does harken back to Castle of Illusion. Not as good as Castle of Illusion, I might add. But these little tracing sort of, hey, you've got a DS, remember you've got a stylus? Those bits, dreadful, absolutely dreadful.
But a lot of DS games just force it upon you because they feel that they need to utilise that screen for something.
Yeah, sure. So Epic Mickey 2 demo came up on live. You can go and play that now, although I don't necessarily recommend it. The other one that came up was Devil May Cry.
DMC.
So yeah, the new Devil May Cry, which has obviously been rebooted, it's Capcom rebooting the franchise with Ninja Theory, the guys that did
Heavenly Sword,
and more recently Enslaved. And so yeah, they've taken it and they've completely stripped out a lot of classic Devil May Cry and reinvented the character. We won't go into that because there was, stress about it, and now everyone's kind of cool about it. I really like Dante in this. I really like his kind of spiky attitude.
Yeah, he's not sold on me.
He's kind of cool. I don't think the way he looks is awesome, and he kind of, I don't have a problem with that. The demo is kind of more Devil May Cry. It was a lot of the same. Yeah. I really liked it. I've got to say, I really liked it. I don't really like these sorts of games generally, or the games I've not really liked in the past have been the Devil May Cry series.
Sure.
Not been a fan of it. That and Ninja Gaiden never do it for me.
But
I love Bayonetta and Vanquish and stuff like that. This I just thought kind of looked brilliant. The world in it, when it's doing this sort of transforming hell into the city and everything shifting around you, looks really nice.
It does look impressive, and there's a lot kind of going on, a lot of bits flying everywhere as you're kind of rushing around. I feel like the combat should be upped by now.
What do you mean the combat should be up?
I feel it just falls short of other things in the field. I know you've kind of got issues with Assassin's Creed and Batman and that style of combat system, but it feels like it's left behind because it doesn't utilise any of those mechanics. It's still relying on basic Devil May Cry stuff.
I guess, but then I would say those two things are too separate. Like, I feel like as soon as you start putting Assassin's Creed and Batman style combos and the chaining of stuff, that style of chaining into a Devil May Cry game, it would change the game completely. It would slow it down, certainly.
Yeah.
Like, I don't mind, because you're still doing a lot of combos and a lot of chaining together in Devil May Cry, right?
Yeah.
But there's a lot of, I think it's because, I mean, the one thing that I guess this does more so than say Batman, is it's not all close range stuff.
Yeah.
You know, he has guns, right? Yeah. But I kind of liked the light and dark style switching of moves, of like dragging people towards you or pulling you towards them. His hook shot, essentially, yeah. And it's kind of like you can never really see what's going on, right? It's all a bit flashy and a bit like someone's done a super move in Street Fighter or something.
Constantly.
But that's kind of more what it's like, right? It's more akin to, I would say, a traditional 2D beat 'em up than it is, say, a 3D roaming sort of game. You're still getting all those sort of like ultra combos. It's cool. I might check out Devil May Cry. These games they never really have much weight to them. For me, you know? I'm like, it's a quick bash. I'll play through it. It won't really mean very much, and that's kind of the nature of it, right? It's a high score blast, a lot of it.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, plot's nothing to kind of drag you in too deep. It's usually kind of general Japanese nonsense.
Yeah, well, this looks a little bit better. This looks like it had. It's that you see the pirate broadcast, don't you? In the with the, like V for Vendetta dude, and stuff. And that could be more interesting. I think the only thing that will get me hooked on the story is the attitude, and they've gone for that Bayonetta vibe with Dante. Of he is a spiky little arrogant fucker, really, that just answers back all the time. And Bayonetta had that similar sort of vibe in the I don't give two shits sort of attitude towards everything that's going on. And when crazy stuff's going on around you, you can get a lot of comedy out of him making some witty thing or, you know, some statement about what's going on.
Yeah, I mean, the argument between the boss and him that you're facing off against was mildly amusing, I must admit.
Yeah. So it's cool.
One thing I felt was really weird about it is they kind of changed Sparta. Like his father, the design of him, he was before kind of brimstone built and big and kind of Japanese style demon, kind of harking back to Legend of Demon Womb and stuff. Now he's been changed to like Renaissance Devil, so he's more like Simpsons Devil rather than kind of Lucifer.
Yeah, but the whole style's changed a bit.
Yeah,
right?
I'm sure.
So
I don't think anything really kind of weird.
The same. They announced that Virgil was in it, and there's DLC, right, for you to play as Virgil, I think.
Oh, okay.
Fairly recently, so I don't know when that game's out.
I think it's early next year, possibly.
Yeah, I mean, if the demo's here, it's got to be fairly soon, right? But I don't think it's before Christmas.
No,
but that seems weird if the demo's already out. So, strange. I'll be interested in giving it a look. The demo didn't put me off, I must admit. It's got 2 levels in it. It's got a boss fight and a normal sort of level.
Yeah.
It's worth playing all the way through because the cooler stuff happens at the end. But yeah, it's all right. It's not bad. Lego Lord of the Rings is another demo that came out, but also the game came out, didn't it, John?
Yes, yeah, it did.
You've been playing the game.
I have, yeah.
How have you found this? Because it looked as though it was a lot more... Well, first of all, the Lego games kind of changed with Lego Batman 2, right? They came much more open world based.
Yeah.
And that one was really sort of critically acclaimed as being a good game. Everyone kind of responded to Batman 2 really well. So Lego Lord of the Rings takes that even further. It looks like it's even more sort of open world.
Yeah, it is. Once you get past the initial couple of levels and it opens you up and you become Frodo, it does start to show the open world elements. So as soon as you complete one level, it opens it up and you're in... it's after you've gone from the Shire to the first town that he goes to, after he escapes the ring race.
Yes.
Yeah. And you come out of the pub after you speak to Aragorn, and you're just there in an open world setting, and there's side quests for you to do within the town. It's got crafting systems in there now for specific tools, and there's a lot more going on in this one than there was in like Lego Batman, outside of the missions themselves.
So it sounds like it's kind of going for a far more RPG style element.
Yeah, it does seem like it, and there is fast travelling between different sections of the game itself, and you can wander off between towns, and that's what makes you do it. So like you have to wander off from the town you're in to the next section of what would be in the film, and then that's when the next level starts.
So what I thought was interesting about this game is obviously the Lego characters talk now again. That was one of the new things that was put in for Batman, right? And everyone kind of loved that. That kind of went down well in Batman. They were well acted and stuff like that.
Yeah, pretty funny stuff.
Lord of the Rings though is a bit different because it uses clips from the movie.
Yeah.
Right. So when you watch the cutscenes for it, they're all really serious. They're all like really deadly serious because they're from the movie. So there's like some of the dialogue's really quite sternly delivered.
Yeah.
And you've still got a Lego man sort of saying it, which I thought was a bit odd, but. Yeah, that's all right. You don't have a problem with that.
No, and it's weird as well because they tweak some of the lines slightly,
right.
But it's like you don't notice it. It sounds exactly the same all the way through. So I don't know how they managed to get those extra little bits in there.
Well, I wondered if they had, if they have got sound alikes in, or if they've even got proper actors. I don't know, but it's weird, or if they've just cleverly gone through the movie and just because all the little like grunts, the little like and seem to be from the movie as well.
Yeah.
So someone's done a pretty good job on that. I mean, they'd have all that sound anyway from as sound.
Yeah.
They wouldn't have to pull it out from an actual bit of the movie. They'd have it as a sound file, but. It's interesting to think the level that maybe has gone into that. I think this game visually looks brilliant. I think it looks really, really nice. The Lego games have slowly gotten more and more realistic in their portrayal of Lego anyway. That's kind of excited me. And this one's brilliant. The depth of field, we mentioned it slightly last episode, but the depth of field's fantastic. The Lego kind of just looks real. It's kind of got that like tilt shift effect going on.
Almost like someone's just sitting down with a Lego set and a camera.
And that's kind of what I want it to look like.
Sure.
I want it to look like the things your imagination's doing when you're playing with Lego in the first place, I don't care about Lord of the Rings at all, which is the biggest thing putting me off this.
I'm not. It's not as offensive to me as Indiana Jones. I mean, I don't find Indiana Jones offensive, but it kind of gave me the distance not to play the Lego games because I'm not particularly interested in Indiana Jones.
Yeah, this is up there with the Harry Potter ones for me.
But I quite enjoyed Harry Potter, and I'm not overly obsessed with Harry Potter. If a grown man can say that. I mean, I've read a couple of the books. I've not sat down and read the whole lot. But Lego Lord of the Rings. I'll give it a go. Definitely.
Well, there's a demo up, so you can. It's something that's up there for people to try now. So what else have we been playing then? Has anyone else played anything worth mentioning?
Yeah, this week I've downloaded Groove Zero, which is iOS.
Okay, Groove Zero.
Yeah, I do believe it was paid before. It's free to play now. Though obviously it's quite a limited package that you get, and then you can unlock tracks. It's basically a rhythm-based game, but it's got quite interesting aspects. You're simply a cursor travelling along a line, and then you intersect with beats and you tap anywhere on the screen to do so. The thing that's interesting about it is the angle, because it's in 3D space, the angle changes as you're going along the line. So initially you'll see it from top down, and then the view will shift to kind of side on, which obviously makes intersecting the rhythm a lot more trickier.
Okay, so it's not, but how can I tell what angle I'm looking at if it's just a line?
It's the background is 3-dimensional.
Okay.
So it's within 3D space, and you see it looks a lot like Res, for example, where you've kind of got 3D models in the background, but they're all kind of neon colours and wireframe.
Okay, so kind of vector based.
Yeah, very much so. The music isn't fantastic, which is always a shame when you're kind of dealing with a rhythm game. You want fantastic music, right? But a lot of it's kind of J-pop and quite techno-y stuff. But then when you're hitting the screen, it does affect the music.
I don't know why. The problem with these games, there's a lot of games like this on iOS, but is this new? Is this new game that's come out?
I don't know if it's new, but it's gone free to play, so it was in the featured section.
Right, okay. The thing that always bugs me with these games is I don't want to play a rhythm action game on my phone because it's just too small a system, right? The thing about Guitar Hero that makes it great is having the stage area, the area in front of what normally is in most people's houses is probably a fairly large TV. You're at the front of the living room. You've maybe got an audience if there's other players, and you get that. That's the vibe I kind of want for a music-based game. Whereas on my phone, I mean, if you're not playing with headphones as well, which I guess a lot of people don't bother with,
Yeah.
it's that's just a bit crap, right?
Maybe.
That's
I don't know. I found this game quite addictive. I've played it a fair few times now.
So it's literally just Guitar Hero, though, right? You're just kind of but one note at a time.
Yeah,
Do you just tap the screen? Does anything else happen?
Initially all you're doing is tapping the screen to hit the rhythm. It then changes up as you go up in difficulty. So each track has like a easy, a normal, and a hard. As you unlock those, or as you play through those, you then unlock the harder difficulties. They then add new sections, so you kind of press in and hold in at prompted times. It then introduces later levels and harder difficulties, tap and slide, which is quite a tricky one to pull off, especially in close quarters.
So your standard sort of rhythm action stuff.
It's
kind
nothing. It's nothing
like...
mind blowing, but it is quite addictive. And then as you get better grades on each track, you earn money to then unlock further tracks.
Okay.
But you can also buy them in advance, obviously on a standard free to play sort of model.
Fair enough. I won't be picking up. Sounds shit. Well, it doesn't sound shit. It just sounds like not a game I want to play on my thing.
Sure.
But yeah, it's fairly cool. All you really want is Vib Ribbon, right, on your iPhone. But that's never going to happen. So there we go.
You might get a port. Someone might do it one day. Keep the dream alive.
I doubt it.
Don't give up.
There's been a little bit of news this week. Nothing major, but just stuff that's worth going on about. Hotline Miami 2 has sort of been unofficially announced in an interview with the creators.
Right.
So they are working on it. They said don't expect it anytime soon, but they've got lots of stuff planned for more Hotline Miami, which is brilliant. Again, if you haven't played Hotline Miami, you should definitely go out and play it. Over the last weekend, we're too late for it now, but it was half price. It was literally like $5 on Steam.
Yeah,
so
that's a good deal.
Yeah, it's definitely worth picking up. It's worth picking up at full price anyway.
Yeah.
It's not expensive, and it is one of the best games that has come out this year. So yeah, more of that would be fantastic, and there is some on the way. The other thing that came up was there was these rumors earlier on in the week about Nintendo potentially re-releasing the Wii as a Wii Mini, and that seemed to make sense, right? But it's also kind of rumor that, well, people obviously make those sort of rumors up because of Apple and the way that they do things now, right?
Sure.
And all the stuff with the iPad Mini and
I don't know. Nintendo like to redesign their shit, don't they?
Yeah, but they've never done it for a console. That's the thing. Or they've never done it like nowadays officially for a console. You know, in the same way that both Microsoft and Sony have, they haven't.
Okay.
So that's why it was kind of a bit odd. But so there was that rumor going on, and then today it leaked through a Best Buy ad that went up online, the Wii Mini, and it looks kind of nuts. It looks kind of awesome.
It does.
It's a slightly smaller Wii. It's not much smaller at all, really. It's kind of, pretty much the same size. But it's red and black for a start, which is kind of cool. Nintendo haven't done a red and black console since the Virtual Boy. I suppose 3DS as well, but who's counting that? That's not red. That's like, I can't remember, the black's called something like Stargazer, and the red's called Crimson Earth or something. But, red and black. So it's red and black. It's cool. It's kind of black, and then it's got like a red trim all the way around it. It comes with a red Wiimote. It doesn't do the GameCube backwards compatibility. They've stripped that out, and there's no internet connectivity in it as well, which is kind of odd. Also, as the final kicker, it's only available in Canada this holiday season.
Yeah, it's harsh.
Really weird, right?
Yeah, Canada of all places is odd.
I don't know why that is the case or anything like that, but or how much it will be. But it's a shame because it looks brilliant. Maybe we'll see it in other territories at some point. But you can see pictures of it online. It looks
pretty damn cool.
It does. It looks really cool.
Yeah.
It looks really nice. It looks like the sort of machine that will age really badly really quickly.
Yeah, probably.
But it does have this kind of neat retro feel. And yeah, red and black, man. Virtual Boy for life. For life. So that's pretty cool. All right then. Should we do some Independence play? Talk about some of the littler games that might just be bigger than everything else. Okay, Independents play some games. Sean, we normally turn to you at this time to tell us what games you've been playing from the Xbox Live Indie Games section. I have on good authority that you, this week, again, have been back into the Xbox Live Indie Games section and found a couple of gems. I hope they're alright, because normally you come in and you go, I found this shit game. I'm going to talk to you about this shit game now, and then after that I'm going to talk to you about another shit game. And I'm sat there thinking, I hate shit games. They're my least favourite games.
Yeah, but at least now you know what not to play.
Yeah, but
I've suffered for you.
We're doing a disservice because most people don't dare go in the flea market that is the indie game section anyway, and we should at least be trying to uncover some gems. So hopefully this week we'll have something different, but who knows? What have you got for us?
A good egg.
A good egg, all right.
A good egg.
What's your egg?
Ninja Crash.
Ninja Crash. I have heard about Ninja Crash. Well, I'll let you speak about it, but the only thing I've heard about Ninja Crash, and this is why I believe you, they might be a good egg, is balloon fight.
Yeah, it is just literally just balloon fight. But
Awesome.
you've not got balloons.
No, you've got like
Chinese lanterns.
Chinese lanterns,
Yeah.
right? So similar sub, yeah.
Yeah.
You float with a couple of balloons. Is it two? You having balloon fight? I think?
You've got two. Enemies have either one or two.
Yeah. Okay.
There is four-way battles on it as
Yeah.
well.
So you
can
float
have
around the
four
screen and you literally try and pop people's balloons in order to
You're
kill
just
them.
gliding into them is the easiest way of doing it. But the mechanics is that it's got inertia. So you can go off one side of the screen and come on the other, and there's levels and hazards and stuff. It's a pretty swish game, man. It looks fantastic.
Yeah, the art style's really, really nice. Yeah. Actually, it's almost got a sort of semi sort of Samurai Jack sort of look to it, but
yeah, I think
sort of pastel-y, cel shady sort of stuff.
And the humor's pretty spot on in it as well.
Right, okay, yeah, it's cool. Balloon Fight is a great game.
Yeah,
it's a great party game. It's another good one up there with like Bomberman and stuff like that. I mean, it's basically using the idea that Mario Kart had with its battle mode with the balloons on the side. Like they are your lives essentially. These balloons as they pop. 4-player mode sounds pretty cool.
Yeah.
Is there online play? It's not normally in these games, is
yeah,
there? But
I didn't pay attention. Sorry.
That would be cool, but I'd imagine it's not.
It's
there.
possibly
it's
not.
just local.
Certainly, you got to do around your mate's house. Certainly.
Yeah, it's 240 points. This
it's slightly
more than average,
but the quality's there. The quality's there to justify
and actually
that money.
Today I spent 400 points on an indie game, which we'll talk about later.
Crazy money.
So sometimes if the game's good enough, then money is no object.
Yeah, definitely. I must admit I submit to the same stigma, but there is a stigma about buying indie games over 80 points. I feel kind of like I'm not going to get any achievements from it.
Right,
that's my main issue.
Yeah, it's funny that you go to the achievements though, right? Because that's the other thing. We talked about the Wii U earlier in the show, but the Wii U, there's no achievement system.
It's gonna keep me. It's not gonna keep me from my Xbox.
All right, okay. So yeah, Ninja Crash then it's worth looking into.
Yeah, definitely.
Do you think is there much to the game though? Is it
No, it's pretty basic.
I was going to say, I mean, in terms of like modes or levels and stuff, does it look like it's quite a small game? Am I getting bored of it after 5 minutes?
You might do, but I think it's a game like Hidden in Plain Sight that will come out when you've got mates around. Certainly, if you conform to the classic idea of social gaming, it will get use.
Yeah.
It will certainly get you more than kind of £1.70's worth of use.
Yeah, sure. All right, okay, yeah, definitely worth checking out then. Ninja Crash.
Yeah.
Ninja Crash.
It was a good one.
Xbox Live Indie game. What else you got?
Pixel was the other game I looked at this week.
Pixel. Then this was another one of the Xbox Live Indie games uprising.
Yeah.
This year. It was kind of Portal-like.
In kind of visual style. And you've kind of got a weird gun that floats off half the right hand side of the screen. Yeah, sure. I could see if you looked at the screenshots, you go, it's just Portal, but with really simple graphics.
Yeah.
And to a degree, it has the same sort of essence to it, but you're not doing Portal-based puzzles. You're doing environmental puzzles, which obviously Portal has, but without portals. Your gun serves a multitude of services. Basically, initially it fires an electric bolt which moves blocks either upwards or outwards, sideways, and then you can use that to level your, like, raise your height or create pathways for you, and you're basically just trying to get from one side of the screen to the other side whilst navigating kind of moving platforms and stuff, as well as using your gun to solve the puzzles.
So the goal in each level is literally just to get to the exit. That's kind of it, and you're just manipulating the world. This is quite a good game. It's all right. I played a little bit of it when it came out in the Uprising, but I don't. The visual style of it, I really don't like. I don't like it so much that it kind of puts me off. It's kind of. It's not just basic. It's kind of bad. It's not. It's not minimalistic. It is minimalistic, but it's kind of minimalistic in a bad way.
Why do you feel that?
Everything just kind of looks a bit cheap and a bit like.
I quite like the art style.
Really?
Yeah.
But apart from that, the puzzle stuff's all right.
It is just a first-person puzzle game at the end of the day, but at the same time, there is some challenging and some cool ideas in there.
But Portal aside, have you ever enjoyed any first-person puzzles?
No,
No,
this game.
Generally
I quite
they
enjoyed
suck,
this
right?
game.
Yeah.
And
Right.
Portal.
All right, but yeah, puzzling sections in first-person games are generally shit.
Yeah,
You've got to move a block, do anything, or do anything that's not just shooting. Largely, it tends to turn me off a little bit. So that's why Portal is. It's why I tell you what. That's why Portal has a gun in it that fires the portals out. Right? It's not you don't have a portal machine. You don't have anything you do. You have a gun.
Yeah,
and that's why, because that's what makes things.
That's what I suppose that's kind of the way the brain connects it to something that you're used to seeing anyway.
Well, it's the way you work in these games, right? What happens in a game? You're playing a first-person shooter, whatever that is, Call of Halo, we'll call it. And you come up to a door, right, that's closed. One of the first thing you do into it is walk into it. If nothing happens, second thing to do it is shoot it. That's how you make things work in those games, right? You just shoot things until it works. And that's not real. It's only because that mechanic is the best one in that game.
There's usually some sort of kind of on-screen prompt that says press X to open this door.
But
and don't just shoot it.
Yeah, you'll always shoot it, yeah. Because that's the fun bit. So
It's the games where when you shoot it actually works at the best ones.
yeah, that's true. That's true. Okay, yeah. So Pixel,
Yeah, I thought it was quite interesting. I'd say it's worth a look.
It's 80 points. It was definitely one of the better ones from the Indie Games Uprising this year. Where all of those games, actually, we do have a list up on the site, but they're all worth checking out in
Certainly,
some level.
yeah.
And Pixel, was one of the good ones. So okay, yeah, that's pretty cool. I played an indie game this week. In fact, I showed you it this evening, which was Avatar Monster Trucks.
Oh yeah.
Which is normally a game, I want to mention it because it's normally a game that you would stay a mile away from.
I
Right?
saw it in the listing and I was like, yeah, fuck that. It starts with Avatar.
Yeah, it has largely terrible box art. It's called Avatar Monster Trucks. It doesn't inspire any confidence whatsoever. No. I bought it today because it's brilliant. It's kind of like a cross between Trials HD.
Yeah.
And Uni Rally or Uni Racers,
right?
Where it's the Trials sort of model. You've got the controls are very similar. You're braking and accelerating to affect your the angle of your vehicle.
Certainly.
And you've got very a monster truck. In the way the monster trucks are handled in this game is like motocross bikes in terms of suspension and the way it's used. And you're just going over a 2D Excite Bike style level to the end, right?
Yeah.
But you've got a button that will switch you around to go the other way, that's a bit that reminds me most of Uni Rally, is the way the animation of them flipping around, yeah. And you're just racing against a ghost time from each of the level. It's pretty cool. It's not as precise as Trials in terms of the little things you need to do to get over certain hills. There's not the accuracy in the controls and the acceleration and deceleration for that, but it's very similar and it's pretty cool. It also puts a little camera it's like in the cockpit of your monster truck with your avatar as though it's driving.
Hence where the avatar name comes in, right?
Yeah, exactly. And I kind of like that, right? It was kind of reminded me a little bit of the Doom face,
right? As he falls face through fire stuff.
So that's right.
Do you know? You saying it's got ghosts? Do you know if that will display your friends? Say, if I bought it, for example, would it then show up my times on yours?
I would largely imagine it wouldn't, but it'd be great if it did.
Yeah.
If it did just employ that trial stuff. I don't know. I'll have to check it out. I literally only bought it before we started recording, so we'll have a bit more of a look at it. But it's pretty good. It's one of those games. Like I say, only reason I want to call it out is because it's a game you would normally stay a mile away from.
Yeah.
And it's actually really good. It's just come out actually this week, so it's worth checking out. Again,
I might jump on it.
80 points. You can't argue. This week though, we're going to recommend one game. And it's a game that I also bought. I mentioned it earlier that I spent 400 points on an Xbox Live indie game this week. And it's this game. It's Flotilla.
Yeah.
Right? You recommended it to me, Sean. And I immediately bought it. I played the demo for the 8 minutes that it allows you, and was like, damn, didn't even get me through the tutorial. So I played it again, and I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna buy it. It's good. It's what is it? It's like turn-based strategy game, space strategy game. Like FTL in a respect of you're going to different locations and planets to either investigate, and then you get fed a bit of the story. and then normally a battle will take place. Unlike FTL, it doesn't have any of the inside ship stuff.
No.
You're literally just maneuvering your ship. Your turn will be like, do you attack and move? Do you just attack? Or do you just move? They're kind of your three options.
Yeah.
And you just have to position your ships around the other enemies that are there in this three-dimensional world. All kind of looks awesome as well. Kind of looks like Tron.
It's kind of very basic graphics,
Yeah.
but at the same time, it's something very
It's fucking
endearing
brilliant.
about
It looks amazing. Like if someone was playing it in a movie and the Pentagon or something, you'd be like, that totally makes sense. And you just have to position yourself around these ships, and it's turn-based, so you've got to account for that when they're firing at each other, and you just battle and then move on, right?
Yeah.
And I love the way the story was presented, because it's presented, you have like a log, like a captain's log. It runs like Infinity Blade in that every time you die, it's permadeath and you start again. And so I'm now on like story 17. And it starts up and it's like Flotilla starring the amazing Captain Mike Oldman. And it's really good the way the little entrance starts. And then it keeps you a captain's log, which is like a comic strip of every location you go to. And it will say things like, I met some pigmen here and I let them live. And then it will, and you're slowly building this story.
Sure.
And it's also nuts.
Yeah.
You go to like karaoke bars. And the story's like comic panels insanity. And yet the game, when you view it, is like really straight-edged visuals, Tron-like, vector-based, 3D space simulation. It's really weird in that respect.
The mix of it.
But it's wicked. It also has fantastic music.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It does. The piano classic music whilst playing out your little battles is...
I don't know what the track is, but it's the piece of music that was used over the Halo 3 diorama video.
Right.
Okay.
And it's awesome. It just kind of fixes it.
It just adds that extra level to the combat itself. There's just something about it when that music playing and just like moving them around in such a simplistic environment. It's just awesome.
It's what I imagine. I can imagine like a war general in the future in his personal quarters on board his ship in a dressing gown, just playing with this with his hands, Tony Stark style, whilst listening to that music. That's kind of what the environment is. It gets for me.
You wanted this for Connect, right?
It's do you know what I mean? It's easily a game that you'll lose. When I bought it, I played it solidly for like 2 hours. As soon as I got it,
That's
I
mental.
just didn't stop playing it. It's great. It's really great.
This-
It's bastard hard.
Yeah,
Oh,
it
yeah.
is. It's
Yeah.
crazy.
Bastard hard. And there's a checkbox at the beginning for hardcore mode. And I'm like, what the hell is that? Like, hardcore mode is just, as soon as you check that box, a fist comes out of the screen and punches you in the bollocks.
Chuck Norris's fist.
You know, it's just, I don't understand. But it's well worth looking at. It's 400 points, and
It's
sadly, the
pricey.
demo will not get you enough of the game to make you really want it.
Yeah.
Like, I took a punt on it, but it was worth it. This is not like any other Xbox Live indie game that's out there. It's so much better, so much more polished. But the demo's not going to give you enough, and 400 points is, it's £4, or £3 or whatever, which is it's too much for a lot of people. But you should try it. It's amazing.
I'm surprised you had such a positive reaction to it.
I
I
loved
thought
it.
you was going to tell
I
me
mean,
that you hated
it's not that different, really, to XCOM.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
You can't go wrong with it. I definitely recommend checking out Flotilla. It's on PC as well. It came out a while back, so
Right.
yeah, you can check it out in a lot of places.
So that's your recommended.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Okay, so that was Independence Play, and that marks the end of episode 45 of Things We Play. Joseph, how are you feeling?
I'm feeling good.
Good. That's what I like to hear. We'll be back next week, obviously, with some more of the show. There's some more games coming out. In fact, there's a console coming out now. We did
There
talk
is
a little
indeed.
bit about the US launch last week, but the Wii U is out this week, is it?
Yep.
Over here? When's it
3
out?
days.
3
Yeah,
days?
Friday.
Okay, so yeah, it's out. We'll see what happens. There'll be craziness, there'll be madness, there'll be dogs and cats living together, all sorts of nuts. So, but that's happening. Far Cry's out as well.
Yeah.
Far
Yeah.
Cry 3. When's that out?
Friday as well.
That's out Friday.
Friday's a busy day.
Looking forward to pulling knives out of people's stomachs and throwing them into other people's stomachs and other stuff that happens in that game.
We'll
I presume
check it
that
out.
happens. So that'll be good. Far Cry. There's some other stuff, but I can't think. But there is definitely. There's maybe Devil May Cry. We don't.
Isn't
know.
there quite a lot coming out on XBLA?
Yeah, there's XBLA stuff as well. The Sega AM2 collection's coming out this week on XBLA. So
that'll be tomorrow, won't it?
Yeah, and I think they're individual games, but it's things like Fighting Vipers and Sonic Fighters, and there's one more, but I can never remember what it is. But it's one of those sort of genre of fighting
Okay.
games. So yeah, there's some stuff coming out. And obviously we're running up to Christmas, so we got to start thinking about our games of the year, which we'll be doing probably not next week, but probably the week after. We'll be looking at our games of the year for this year because we need to give things like Far Cry a chance to get in there as well.
Yeah, certainly.
And then it's Christmas, so hibernation time or something. But no, we won't be going anywhere. If you've got anything you want to say to us or any comments about the show or any previous show or anything like that, just drop us an email on thingsweplay@gmail.com. You can always tweet us as well on Twitter @thingsweplay. And don't forget to go to the website www.thingsweplay.net where you can check out a whole bunch of other stuff along with this podcast. It's things like our videos of our tiny Spartans and extra credits and obviously previous Educating Joes. And yeah, that's that. Stay gaming, stay cool, stay warm. Stay cool and stay warm, people, because it's chilly outside. I sound like the radio at the beginning of Groundhog Day.
Yeah, yes, exactly right.
What was it? Better wrap yourself up because it's cold outside.
Is it Sherry Sunny?
Yeah, exactly. I got you, babe. Brilliant. So yeah, we'll be back in 7 days' time for more gaming chat. See you next Tuesday.
Take it easy.
Goodbye.